Hello, good afternoon, beautiful people. Happy Sunday, and welcome to Real Talk with Mrs. Fans. How are you today? Hope everyone is keeping well. Happy Sunday once again. Thanks for joining us on today's program, Real Talk with Mrs. Fan. So, we want to say thank you to our listeners all around the world. People that are calling, they send their text messages, voice notes. I want to say that we really, really appreciate you. Without you, like I always say, there is no real talk with Mrs. Fam. So thank you for tuning in every Sunday, 2 to 3 p.m. on your favorite radio, Kosoro Radio, on the Evergreen channel. And like I always say, if you want to reach out to people, you want to send birthday messages, like well wishes, and you want to even promote your services, we are very, very open to doing business with you. So don't hesitate to give us a call after the program or even during the program. You can send your text messages. We are here for you. So today's topic on Real Talk with Mrs. Fam is a sensitive one: overcoming domestic abuse together in African household. I'm going to repeat that. Overcoming domestic abuse together in African household. Before we begin on today's topic, before I begin, I want to give everyone a gentle trigger. It's like a warning. Some of the conversations that we're going to be discussing today might be upsetting to some people. It might upset people. It might, bring not very good memories, and it may be some form of trauma for other people who have been in difficult relationships or are in difficult relationships. So please take care of yourself today, especially on this topic that we're going to be discussing. While you're listening, at any point in time that you feel that you're a bit overwhelmed, please, it is okay to step away and seek support. Before the end of this program, I'm going to be doing some, referring, like signposting to services that is available for people going through this kind of situation. So this conversation as well is not judging anyone. It's not to judge anyone. It's just to educate, to support ourselves, to create awareness that abuse can happen to anyone regardless of their age, their gender, their culture, their religion, social background. Many people suffer in silence. Many people suffer domestic abuse in silence. And today, we want people to know they are not alone. That is why we're discussing this today. They are not alone. So today, you're not alone. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Before we go on to the topic, let's just understand what abuse really means. Today, we're going to be focusing on two: physical and emotional. So physical abuse includes hitting, slapping, pushing, choking, burning, and any form of physical harm. Emotional abuse can be harder to identify because the scars are just invisible. Emotional abuse are very hard to identify because the scars are invisible. This includes insult, criticism. I need to learn how to pronounce that word. Humiliation, manipulation, threats, intimidation, controlling behavior, isolation, and making someone feel worthless. In fact, some people remain in abusive situations because they are afraid, financially dependent on the other party, emotionally attached, ashamed, and worried about their children and family's reaction. Abuse affects our mental health. It can lead to anxiety, depression, In fact, some have suicidal thoughts because of the form of abuse they are going through. I am going to say this now. Nobody deserves to be abused. No one deserves to be abused. Love should never come with fear. Because we love each other, it shouldn't come with fear. So no one should be abused. Before I go on, I want to take some text messages, and then I think we have some voice notes as well. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. This is Olatunji from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you, Olatunji, from Lagos, Nigeria. So Tunji said, "Good afternoon, Mrs. Pham. Concerning today's topic, I think one major thing we overlook in African homes is emotional and verbal abuse disguised as correcting your spouse or submitting. People are being spoken to like children, turned down daily with words, and told to bear it for the sake of the family. The physical scars are easy to see, but the mental ones are keeping people in prisons in their own marriages. Thank you for bringing this up. My question is, Mrs. Pham, what advice do you have for someone whose partner is abusive, but the extended family or in-laws are actively pressuring them to stay and endure for the sake of the children or cultural pride? How do you stand your ground when your support system is telling you to stay in danger?" Quickly, I'm going to answer that before I go on to the next question. To the next text message. You have practically answered the question, Mr. Tuji from Lagos. How do you stand your ground when your support system is telling you to stay in danger? Someone is telling you to stay in danger, and this is when you need to think as a person. Do I have to stay in danger? Danger is a big thing. So danger could be somebody bashing you day and night with words, somebody putting you down, somebody you feel worthless, you don't have any self-worth, all your confidence is gone. And then because you have children, you have to stay in that marriage. I am going to speak personally now. I do not think it is right for anyone to be in that kind of situation, regardless of the children involved. And I think as well, it is not healthy to bring children up in this kind of toxic environment, because you're not doing them any good. This is not the right training. This is not, because childhood development for them means a lot. So if you bring children up in this kind of broken, complex family, I think that's not the right decision. And in African homes, I know this kind of situation can come up and people will be like, because of your kids. At the end of the day, you need your own sanity. You need your own life. And you're even doing the kids favor by either walking out of the marriage, or people, living separately, or maybe the other party getting some form of counseling, just so, because sometimes people do things to other people because they are not aware of the situation. They don't know the impact of their behavior or how other people are taking what they do to other people. So sometimes they just need some education, counseling around it. And if that still doesn't work, I believe, you should take a walk and get yourself in that place that is called safe space. So I'm just going to, I hope that answers your question, Olatunji from Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm just going to go to the next message. So I don't think we have a name for this person. Good afternoon and happy Sunday. I'm joining online for the first time from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining. My name is Theo Obialo, Lagos precisely. Good afternoon. And well done for the topic of the day: overcoming domestic violence in Africa. Poverty and illiteracy are the cause of domestic violence in Africa. Thank you, Theo, for sharing that. I'll go on quickly to the next one. The first response from family or elders is usually manage it or pray more. Because we are so afraid of a broken marriage or what the community will say, we need to start prioritizing human lives over societal reputation. The silence is what is keeping the abuse alive. Exactly. I also have a question, Mrs. Fan. We often tell people to leave abusive situations, but the reality after leaving can be terrifying and lonely, especially without traditional family support nearby. As a social worker, what are the first practical, legal, or community steps someone should take immediately after walking away from an abusive household to ensure their safety and stability? Thank you, Kemi Adeshola. You have said it. It's a big trap. In the shame part is the worst, because a lot of people are going to be like, "What are people going to say?" You know, what? My mom did not divorce my dad. My grandmom did not divorce. My sister did not divorce. How can I do that? I got married traditionally. I got married in the church. You know, so what will people say of me? So I understand the shame part. But at the same time, we need to speak up. A lot of us don't speak up. And by the time we do, sometimes it is too late. And the other person, because this is a pattern, abuse is a pattern. It is not a one-off. And the person that constantly abuse you, they're deriving some form of, satisfaction. And that satisfaction, even though it is negative, but they are deriving some form of satisfaction because you are unhappy. They see that sadness in you, and that is what they enjoy practically. So managing it, as people will say, or praying over it, is something that we need to reflect on. There are things that you can manage, and there are just some that you cannot manage. When you are being hit every day, in front of your children, in front of your friends and family, you get slaps here and again, you get black eyes, you cover it up with makeup. It is not only women that go through domestic abuse or get hit by their partners. Men does as well. Some women hit their husbands, they hit their partners. So this is not just about female. Male go through this kind of violence as well. And there's a lot of men are so ashamed to talk about this. So first thing, I know you said we often tell people to leave abusive marriage. Abuse is a big word. So when you leave an abusive marriage, a lot of people will now learn to cope, because it is not easy, because some are dependent on their partners, maybe for financial reasons, maybe because they're not able to look after much children on their own, or maybe they're just not in that position, or maybe because of their health, maybe because of their pet. There are so many reasons why when people leave violence or they leave abusive situations, they're so unable to cope, and you will see that people tend to go back, and a lot of people will judge them and say, why do you have to wait until you're killed before you take a decision? So we understand that there's a lot of reasons why people stay in an abusive relationship, but regardless, there are so many options, there's so many avenues where they can get help, like maybe going into refuge, like sharing with families, just telling people, getting counseled, around it, not isolating yourself, thinking that you cannot handle. Reaching out is not a form of weakness. When you reach out to people for support, it doesn't make you somebody that is sharing your family. In fact, it is not a secret. Being abused is not a secret. I don't see that as a form of secret that you should hold to yourself, because you're destroying yourself mentally. A lot of people cannot come out of issues mentally because they've had this for so long. So living an abusive marriage or relationship, if that will give you stability, if that would give you the next step to your life to make progress, just to be at peace, because it's very important, I feel that's the right step to take. And legally, if you have to take legal actions, against this person, maybe, just for some form of restraint, like contact. Maybe you have to arrange contact regarding the children, or maybe just you don't want them around you because of the risk they pose on you and your children. you know there's legal backup for you, and there are so many community support. If somebody is struggling, there are so many places that you can get some, maybe food banks, onto your feet. You can either approach your council. I'm talking more of the United Kingdom now, for support, regarding housing. There's just so many, there's support out there, and there's so many groups that you can join, that people in that kind of situation, they come together to discuss it, so you're not on your own. And you can talk to your doctor in case you have any health issues, or any mental health issues. There's just help out there for you. So I hope I've answered that question, Kemi Adeshola. Thank you for contributing to today's topic on abuse. So I'm just going to go straight to our voice notes, and we will see what we have in there. Like I said, at any point that this is becoming unbearable or overwhelming, please do step back, because this is a very sensitive topic that can trigger a lot of people. Please step back and just look after yourself. I'm going to go on this voice note now.
Hello, Mrs. Pham. Hi, listeners. My name is Aduni, and I'm from Nigeria, Lagos State to be precise. My candid opinion about domestic abuse and how it can be overcome in African homes. First, we know that domestic abuse is not gender-based. A man can be abused. A woman can be a victim of the abuse. Even children, they can also be a victim of the abuse. So yeah, it is not gender-based. And this domestic abuse varies. It could be psychologically, it could be emotionally, it could be physical. None of it is okay. I would say none of it is okay. If one is physically abused, the bruises, the hurt, the wounds, and even what it does psychologically to one. Talking about the emotionally abused, when you say demeaning words to one another, as a couple, as father to a child, as mother to a child, from mother to the father, vice versa. Saying demeaning words, making one feel worthless, inferior about oneself, comparing one to people outside, putting in effort into the family, into the children, and you not seeing it, you making those efforts seem worthless, not seeing that value in one another. No one should endure such, let alone eating one another, breaking bottles, tricking one another, a lot of things, stamping foot on one another. It goes a long way. I'm trying to combine all these abuses together, both the physical, psychological, and the emotional abuse together, because of time. No one should go through such. Either the man, the woman, or children, none should go through such. Then how do we overcome this? Holding one another to order. I don't like this, you do this, you do that. Talk to one another. If that is not going to help, then seek help outside. Go for counseling. Let other people talk to you. Let them figure out what the problem is in your home. Talk to people. They might have solutions to whatever it is that is occurring in that home, in that family. If that is not working, go for therapy. It could be childhood trauma that is instigating that furiousness and all of that. Go for therapy. Seek help. You need to seek help. And after all of this, and none is working, please dissolve the marriage. Dissolve, let everybody go their way. Ẹ̀mí tó bá wà, òun ló ń ṣayé. When you are dead, you're dead. There is no hope for the dead. Dissolve the marriage. Let you go your ways. You find good partners for each other. Just go your ways. And it's for the children. As for the children, if children are abused in a home, please, people that knows about it, let them cry for help on behalf of these children. Go
Yes.
to the nearest police station, please report.
Hmm.
We have a human rights organization. Let them take over the children from the parents that are abusing these kids too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Ah, that was deep. That was so deep. Seek for help. Go for counseling. Go for not like a battlefield. I think healing starts when families stop normalizing toxic behavior because of culture or endurance. Thank you so much, Amaka, for sharing that. I'm going to take this from Chinedu from Enugu, Nigeria. Good day, Mrs. Pham. Chinedu from Enugu here. In my opinion, silence is one of the reasons domestic abuse keeps increasing in African households. Neighbors hear screams, families family members notice bruises, but everybody says it's a husband and wife matter. We need to stop covering abuse in the name of protecting family image. Sometimes speaking up can save a life. I totally agree with you, Chinidu from Enugu. Thank you so much for contributing. When will we stop this? People hear someone beating up their wives and they say that's the norm. They always beat each other. And rather, people will take up their phones and all they do is record. You see somebody hitting a child, and then the next thing is put this up and make content out of it. How? What's going on? Honestly, this is so traumatizing. Even saying this, it is honestly traumatizing. Thank you for that. I'm going to go on to the next one. This is Tunde from Acne, London. Hello, Mrs. Pham. This is Tunde from Acne, East London. Growing up, many African men were taught to suppress emotions and suppress anger instead of vulnerability. Sadly, that frustration sometimes turns into abuse at home. I believe we need to raise boys differently and teach men that respect, patience, and communication are signs of strength and not weakness. I totally agree with you on that one. The way we raise our boys is very, 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 very important. Boys are taught not to show emotions, you know, and they will be termed as girly when they tell people, what is happening to them. And I think this is very, very wrong. And that frustration sometimes turns into abuse. I totally agree with you, but it is unacceptable. Thank you for that, today from Acne in London. So I'm going to go on to the next one. This is Nana Hama from Kumasi, Ghana. Thank you, and thank you, Nana from Kumasi. Hi, Mrs. Nana Hama here from Kumasi. A lot of victims stay in abusive homes because they are scared of shame. Shame keeps popping up today. Family judgment or starting life over. Yes, that's correct. Some even hear things like just pray and endure. I want people to know that protecting your peace and safety is not rebellion. Nobody deserves to live in fear in their own home. You are very, very right. Thank you so much, Nana from Kumasi, Ghana. So, as we were saying, still on the topic domestic abuse. Today, we're focusing mainly on physical abuse and emotional abuse. So, like some of our guests, our callers and people who have sent in their
Another interesting topic you have brought up today, and I really like it.
Thank you.
But I'm only calling to give advices to people in maybe abusive relationships.
Okay.
Okay, so my first advice to anyone that is listening now is if you are in an abusing home, just know that your life is more important than your marital status.
Your life is more
Because
important than the marital status. So there is the
exactly,
status, marital status, because that's a big one.
yes,
And that's why a
yes,
lot of
because
people stay in that marriage. I want to be married.
exactly they don't want to lose married. I think it gives them some kind of edge in the I don't know in their
Community,
community.
maybe regarding the family, the religion, the practice, among their friends, among their siblings. I get you. Go on, sir.
Okay, so because I know God does not require us to die to prove our commitment in any marriage. So when abuse starts, or when there are physical abuse or any sort of abuse, I think people should just throw away the fear of what will people say or what will my church members say.
What will
I
my
don't.
church members say? Thank you for that. I want to ask you, like even slapping people, somebody will say, "Shebi mo ko gba eti ẹ ni." It's just a slap. It's just a slap. Mo ko gba eti ẹ, mo bá wí, mo bá wí.
Yeah.
I want to put it to you now, and I'm not, going anywhere like supporting any gender or anything. Do
Okay.
African men see, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna catch you on the edge there, do
Okay.
African men see women as their properties in this generation?
Okay, I understand very well. I understand the question. Well, for me, I believe in gender equality to some extent because men are stronger and women might be a little bit weaker physically. But
Some
pertaining
women
to
are
your
not
question,
weak.
yes, pertaining to your question,
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
I think this thing is, I would say yes, because men feel their own women, especially in Africa, and this is as a result of financial dependency from the in-laws, from how the traditional marriage rites were carried out. Because in most cases in Africa, when the in-laws are giving out their daughter in marriage, they make sure to overwhelm the groom, the husband, with a lot of expenses,
But
and
is
they
that
keep
in is
asking.
that in all cultures though, or in some
So,
cultures in
no, not
Africa?
in some culture,
Okay.
but Africa generally. So some men might believe that, oh yes, I bought this woman. They start seeing her as a slave.
Is that
She
something
does all
that we
their
need to
stuff.
look into? Do we have to look into that culture of, making men think you are my property? Mo ti sanwó orí ẹ, gbogbo nǹkan tó bá ti wù mí ni màá fi ẹ́ dá lára. Èmi ni mo ní ẹ. I would decide if you're gonna have a baby and you're meant to have a cesarean section, even if the doctors say this is the safest procedure to have a baby alive and the mother. But as the husband, you are saying, no, ìyàwó mi ò ní ní cesarean section. Or maybe other decisions regarding life and death. And because you are my property, mo sọ fún ẹ pé o ò ní lọ sí family event yẹn, o ò ní lọ ṣiṣẹ́ báǹkì tí o lọ sí school fún yẹn. I'm just bringing this kind of examples tó jẹ́ pé ó ń really fa problem ní African household. Tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé that's no is a no. What do you say to that, sir?
I think that's like in the past, because presently a lot of people are really educated and they know what they want. So, for people in that kind of situation, I believe they have been pushed into that kind of relationship, not like they choose who they wanted to marry themselves.
Okay,
But right now, people are taking their time to study who they want to marry
very well.
before they even further into the relationship. So if the relationship is not working out, I advise you just back out immediately. But if you have the time to be in a relationship and you can't figure these things out, yes, you suffer for it in marriage.
In marriage.
Yes.
So you mean the
So
flag light? They would have kind of seen the red flags.
yes, it will be there. So maybe it was ignored, or they feel like, oh yeah, he just slapped me. He was correcting me. Yeah, I love him. He loves me too.
I caused
Yes,
it.
you
I
suffer for it
pushed him, or
later.
I provoked him. I made him angry. And these are, signs that it could be a problem for the lady as well. Because some have been deprived of love. And when they see somebody say, oh, I love you, or I do this, they kind of fall for them because they've been deprived of that affection in their own families. So when they see someone who's giving them their attention, it may be gift or whatever attention they're getting, they kind of believe them. But so thereby ignoring the flag. But now the flag has been ignored. What's the next step? They are in that situation. And this is every day, it's a pattern.
Okay, so for me, I think if the physical abuse situation has escalated to the point where it cannot be condoned anymore, me, I will advise anybody in that situation to first of all secure their maybe any documents they have in that marriage, maybe all their passports, kids, birth certificate, everything, school certificates.
Yeah.
Just keep it some from outside the house, maybe in your bank or a relative you trust. Then, if you have any money for yourself, not the family money,
Yeah.
keep it away as well. And if you are ready to leave, don't make it loud. Don't break up a quarrel about it, because that's when, in situation like this, that's where it leads to death, because the husband or the wife might not be ready to lose their partner. They just want to enjoy using them as a slave, abusing them. So if the husband does not want the victim to go, they will end up killing each other.
You're
So you
right.
can just do
And
that
that has happened.
quietly.
A lot of that has
Yeah,
happened. Yeah. Thank you
I
so
believe.
much. I'm going to have to let you go at this stage. Thank you so much, Mr. Tucci from Nigeria. Thank you so much. And see you next Sunday by God's grace. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye for now. So, if you are in Nigeria and you need help or support regarding domestic violence or emotional abuse, you can contact the Mirabel Center. They provide free support for survivors of domestic and sexual violence. Mirabel Center, you can contact them. There is also Women at Risk International Foundation, that is WARIF. They offer counseling, medical support, and advocacy services, that is WARIF. There is also Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, that is DSVA Lagos. Emergency services in Nigeria can also be contacted through local police and emergency response lines in your state. Here in the United Kingdom, if you're in the UK and you need confidential support, you can contact Refuge. 24-hour support is available for women experiencing domestic abuse. And there is the Refuge UK. We also have Women's Aid here in the UK. They provide information, live chats, support services for survivors. If you are listening in the UK and you are experiencing emotional, psychological, physical, domestic abuse, please know that support is always available and you do not need to suffer in silence. So all of this for men, we have the Mankind Initiative. They support male victims of domestic violence and abuse. So you can call them on 01823 334 244. They are called Mankind Initiative. There's also the Victim Support for emotional and practical support for victims of crimes and abuse. You can ring them on 0808 1689 111. In an emergency for United Kingdom, please call 999. Please remember, You deserve to be safe, you deserve to be respected, and help is available. Thank you so much for contributing. Thank you for calling. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Thank you for the voice notes. We really, really appreciate it. And please, 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 if you need further support apart from what we have discussed here live on the program, you can reach out to Mrs. Pham on that text message. I would respond to your message. That is why we're here, not to judge you, not because of what you have done. We will not judge your situation. We are here to support you. Asking and seeking for help is not a form of weakness. You're there to be supported, and you're not on your own. You are not on your own. Thank you so much. Until we meet next Sunday, bye for now, and God bless.